myths perpetuated by salespeople. The prospect will buy if they give them a free audit. Really? A lot of people think this. The prospect will buy if I can give them a free audit to show them what I can do first. But here's the truth. If you go in and the person says, I need a free audit, first question I would ask is, have you ever had a free audit done in the past? They'll say, oh yeah, we've had plenty of them. If you look up to the ceiling and the lights are still the old lights, you say, well, I'm a little confused. You've had a bunch of these free audits done. With all due respect, why do you still have the old equipment installed? They'll say, well, they weren't that very good. Well, okay, so the audits weren't of good quality. No, well, again, with great respect, what do you expect for free? I mean, people aren't in the business of giving out engineering services. Or maybe they say, well, they came up with so many different answers, we just got confused. Again, with all due respect, Mr. Prospect, what makes you think that if I give you another audit, that's going to be less confusing? Because really, I don't want to waste your time or my time. And frankly, we're not in the business of auditing. We're in the business of installing projects. So we don't want to waste our engineering resources when someone in your organization is maybe not serious about implementing these projects. So let's just chat for a couple minutes. What would happen if we did give you an audit? What would the next steps be? Okay. The reality is that if they don't have the money for the audit, they're not willing to pay for the audit, chances are they're not willing to pay for the projects either. And there are lots of flavors of disingenuous requests for free audits. One of them might be that they've already decided to give the business to somebody else and they just want another price in the file so they can justify they did their homework. 3 bid syndrome, they need 2 other pieces of paper to prove that they did some research. Another one might be that they really want to do an audit, but their manager has never really approved an audit being done. So they haven't told the manager, they figure they'll just drop it on his desk. Well, what if he just, what if the manager just slaps him across the head and said, what are you wasting time on this audit stuff? I told you to do X, Y, and Z. Who loses there? Well, the employee is probably red-faced at being admonished by his boss, but you just gave all this engineering intelligence for nothing. Now, if you're insisting on giving something for free to generate some goodwill, maybe you offer to go through a building walkthrough, very quick pace, with the assistant chief engineer, who will tell you what the dominant fixtures are in the building. And at that point, you could say, okay, how about this? How about I take a look at the 5 most dominant light fixtures in the building, luminaires for the purists who are viewing this, and I will work up what the savings to investment ratio is and net present value would be for each one of those dominant fixtures. And if I tell you that dominant fixture A, of which you have probably more than 1,000, for every one of those that you replace, given an operating hours assumption of X, you're going to get a savings to investment ratio of 1.6, and you tell me it's not enough to make $1.60 for every dollar you invest, well, aren't both of us glad that I didn't spend time counting 1,167 of them? So if you could do these sort of dipstick maneuvers where you say, I'm just going to take a reading to see whether or not this is economically possible in a unit of 1. And then if you like that, if you like enough of these, then, I could probably handle 80% of the luminaires in this building if you just told me the 5 dominant fixture types, in which case, we can say whether or not this is going to pencil and pass muster with capital budgeting, in which case I'll go back and do the audits and actually give you investment grade audit. Another way I've seen some people do it is they say, okay, well, we have a breakage fee. We'll do the audit for you, but if you don't do business with us, we'll charge you for the audit. Or better yet, we'll charge you for the audit, and when you do business with us, we'll credit that full price of the audit against the program installation charge. Whatever you do, you don't want to be taken advantage of, because a lot of people in business think that they're being busy means they're in business, but they're actually not in business, they're in busyness. Just doing 100 audits a year is not going to get you successful. 2 a week, who cares? If none of them say yes, you just wasted a year of your time on earth. On the other hand, talking like a peer, you wouldn't expect a guy to go to his accountant and say, hey, look, why don't you do the tax return for me for free this year and I'll see if I want to use you as an accountant. You really have to have respect for the engineering prowess you're bringing to the table. And this concept of free audit, it doesn't really work that well.